Today, we're diving into a really powerful piece of ancient wisdom. It's an idea that acts as an antidote to something we all feel: fear. We're going to uncover how the concept of an eternal soul can actually become your greatest source of courage. You know that feeling, right? That moment when you're up against some huge decision or an overwhelming challenge and you just stop. You feel completely stuck, frozen. It's such a human feeling, and it connects all of us. And what's so wild is that one of the most profound spiritual teachings in history actually starts with that exact feeling. It comes from the story of a legendary warrior, Arjuna, who, right on the edge of the biggest battle of his life, just completely fell apart. So let's picture this. Arjuna is on the battlefield. He's ready to go to war. But then he looks across the field at the army he's supposed to fight, and he sees his own family, his teachers, his friends. He's facing this absolutely impossible choice. And he just breaks. He drops his weapons. His mind is just a mess of sorrow. His body is literally trembling. He's paralyzed. And it's in this moment of total despair, that his guide, Krishna, reveals this incredible truth about how reality actually works. So the very first thing Krishna tells him is a total game changer, a radical shift in perspective. He basically says, Arjuna, the reason you're suffering is because you're confusing who you really are with this temporary physical body. It all starts with one powerful idea. You are not your body. Okay, so this core idea is all about a huge distinction. On one side, you've got the body. It perishes, right? It's temporary. It's always changing from when you're a kid to when you're old. But the soul, your true self, is the total opposite. It's eternal. It's permanent. And at its core, it is unchanging. And that leads to this really powerful line. Now, when Krishna says the wise don't grieve, he's not saying we should be cold or unfeeling. Not at all. What he means is that people who really get the difference between the temporary body and the permanent soul, well, they see life and death from a much deeper perspective. They understand that you don't have to grieve the natural, inevitable changes of the physical world. Now, to make this incredibly deep idea a little easier to wrap your head around, the teaching offers this brilliant, super simple metaphor, and it's one that completely reframes how we think about mortality. So get ready for this. If the soul is eternal and the body is just temporary, then death can't possibly be the end of the line. It's not a final stop. It's just a costume change for the soul. How cool is that? Just think about it. The same way you take off old clothes and put on new ones, the soul just moves from one body to the next. This one idea has the power to just dissolve the fear of death, turning it from some terrifying end into just a natural transition. Okay, so this is all fascinating philosophy, but what does it actually mean for us, like right now in our day-to-day lives? How do we make this ancient wisdom practical? So what are the takeaways here? First, don't be afraid of change. Since your real self is permanent, all the external stuff, a new job, moving to a new city, a relationship ending, none of that can actually touch your true essence. Second, start seeing challenges as temporary. That stressful project at work, that difficult conversation you have to have, that's all happening to your temporary form, not the permanent you. And finally, the big one. This is where courage comes from. Real courage is that deep down confidence that you are so much more than your physical body and your current circumstances. So when you really start to get this, to see the world through this new lens, what does it actually change? What does it unlock inside you? You know, ultimately, it all comes down to perspective. This whole teaching isn't about denying reality. It's about seeing it from a higher viewpoint. It's a mental model for reframing your whole experience of life. And the effect is, it's profound. When your identity is tied to something eternal and unchanging, all the everyday problems, the fears, the anxieties, they just don't have the same grip on you anymore. They shrink. They become less significant because you realize they're just temporary events happening to your temporary form. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. If you truly lived as if your innermost self is permanent, indestructible, what challenge, what obstacle, what fear in your life could possibly be big enough to actually stop you?